People in Illinois are thinking he might be playing point guard. Is that the case?
Ultimately, what he does best is make shots, and he does that at a very elite level. He's got good ball skills, and he's worked hard on that position. I think he'd ultimately like to make that transition. I think it's going to be an evolution for him, though. It's not going to happen overnight. He's going to go through some growing pains of transition to that position. I think it's still a little ways out. Well, he's still going to be pretty effective just with his shot-making abilities.
What position is he going to play for you this year?
He's a combo, and I think the same thing for him. I don't think he really gets wrapped up into titles. I think he's a guard that's going to affect the game in a lot of different ways. So he'll play a little point, he'll play a little two, but he's more than anything, he's a guard for us.
Do you know anything about how his position in college was sold to him? Because, Illinois fans are still looking at adding another point guard possibly, and then some people think he's the one. Do you have any idea how that was sold?
I think the vision is kind of similar to what I said. I think they see him as a guard more than anything, too, that regardless in their offense, primarily ball screen offense, you're still having to make plays. You're playing a lot of point guard, even if you're on the wing. You're having to read and react defenses, and I think the hope is that ideally he can transition there full-time at some point in his career. When that is kind of predicated on him working at it and studying the game and picking it up that way.
Can you tell me about the recruiting process and how much time you spent around the Illini coaching staff?
I got to know those guys pretty well throughout the process. In a boarding school, he's here pretty much year-round, with the exception of a couple months in the summer. So they were frequent visitors up here, and they are one of the hardest, if not the hardest, working staff in the country. And we get to see quite a few staffs with our roster. So they put a lot of time and effort into him and respected the process and how he wanted the process to go, and I think that's what paid off for them.
Was it mostly Jamal? Did Dustin or Paris Parham ever come by?
It was mainly Jamal. Dustin came up here one time, and it was mainly Jamal and Coach Gross.